For the best experience, please use headphones or listen in a quiet environment. Unlock your true potential, the secret power of self-knowledge and awareness. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something that is at the very core of your life, your purpose and your potential. It's not just about achieving success, building wealth, or creating fulfilling relationships, though all of these are important. It's about the foundation for all of those things, self-knowledge. You see, self-knowledge isn't just a concept or a buzzword. It is the key to understanding life itself. The philosopher Socrates once said, "Know thyself." Think about that for a moment. What does it mean to know yourself? Have you ever truly looked inward and asked, "Who am I? What drives me? What am I afraid of?" Most people spend their lives avoiding those questions. Why? Because the answers can be uncomfortable. The answers force us to face our fears, our limitations, and yes, even our potential. But here's the thing. You cannot change what you do not understand. And you cannot achieve lasting fulfillment without first understanding yourself. The importance of self-awareness. Let me ask you this. How often do you stop and observe your own thoughts, your own emotions, without judgment? How often do you pause and reflect on the patterns that dominate your life? Most people live on autopilot, reacting to life rather than creating it. But what if I told you that you have the power to transform your life simply by becoming more aware of yourself? The great teacher Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "To understand the immeasurable, the mind must be extraordinarily quiet still." In other words, self-awareness isn't about obsessing over your flaws or endlessly analyzing yourself. It's about observing your mind, its fears, its desires, its habits, with clarity and without judgment. Self-awareness allows you to uncover the triggers that dictate your reactions. For example, how many times have you lashed out in anger, only to regret it later? What if, in those moments, you had the ability to pause, reflect, and choose a better response? That's the power of self-awareness. It gives you control over your emotions rather than letting your emotions control you. Why self-knowledge matters. Now let's break this down. Why is self-knowledge so powerful? Here's the truth. Most of the conflict, fear, and suffering in your life doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. It comes from the stories you tell yourself, the beliefs you've adopted, and the fears you've allowed to control you. Think about it. How many times have you avoided taking a risk because you were afraid of failing? How many relationships have been strained because of your inability to understand your own emotions or communicate effectively? The problem isn't the external world. It's the internal world, your mind. Let me ask you this. What stories are you telling yourself right now? Are you telling yourself you're not good enough, that success is out of reach, that your past defines your future? If so, I want you to stop. Stop and observe those stories. Because here's the thing. They are just stories. They are not reality. Self-knowledge gives you the power to rewrite those stories. If you've been telling yourself that you're not worthy of success, self-knowledge allows you to challenge that belief. You can replace it with a new narrative. I am capable. I am worthy. I am enough. And once you believe it, your actions will follow suit. The power of observation without judgment. Krishnamurti encouraged us to look inward and observe ourselves without judgment. Why? Because judgment creates resistance. If you look at your fears and immediately label them as bad, you're not going to understand them. You're going to push them away. But when you observe without judgment, you can uncover the root of your fear, your conflict, your suffering. So here's an action step for you. The next time you feel fear, anger, or frustration, don't react. Don't suppress it. Instead, take a deep breath and simply observe it. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? What belief or thought is driving this feeling? Write down your answers, because writing creates clarity. Once you've identified the root cause, you'll find that the emotion loses much of its power over you. Quotes to inspire transformation. Let me share another powerful quote with you. Man is not what he thinks he is what he hides. Andre Malraux. How many of you are hiding parts of yourselves? Hiding from your own pain, your own potential, your own truth? Here's a truth bomb for you. The parts of yourself that you hide are the very parts you need to confront. Why? Because those hidden parts are controlling you. They're the reason you're stuck in the same patterns, making the same mistakes, and feeling the same frustrations. When you shine a light on those hidden parts, you reclaim your power. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. Lao Tzu. This quote reminds us that while understanding others is valuable, understanding ourselves is transformational. It's the difference between living reactively and living intentionally. Another gem comes from Aristotle. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Think about this. True wisdom doesn't come from accumulating knowledge about the world. It starts with understanding yourself. Why? Because when you understand yourself, you understand your motivations, your fears, and your desires. You can navigate life with clarity and purpose. Let me ask you this. Are you living reactively? Are you letting the opinions and actions of others dictate your happiness? Or are you living intentionally, grounded in your own values and self-knowledge? Here's a tip. Every morning, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today that aligns with my values and goals? Then, do it. The path to transformation. Now, let's talk about how to turn self-knowledge into transformation. It starts with taking responsibility. Tony Robbins always says, life is happening for you, not to you. What does that mean? It means that every challenge, every setback, every fear is an opportunity for growth. But you can't grow if you're stuck blaming the world, your circumstances, or other people. Here's an action step. Take 5 minutes every evening to reflect on your day. Ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today? How did I react to challenges, and what does that say about me? Write it down, because awareness is the first step to change. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. This quote is a wake-up call. How many of your actions, decisions, and reactions are driven by unconscious beliefs and fears? Self-knowledge is about bringing those hidden drivers into the light, overcoming fear and conflict. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to self-knowledge. But here's the truth about fear. It's not real. It's a projection of your mind. As Mark Twain said, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. So how do you overcome fear? By facing it, by observing it without judgment, by taking small, courageous actions every day. Here's an action step. Identify one fear that's holding you back right now. Maybe it's fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of the unknown. Whatever it is, take one small step today to confront it. Because every time you face a fear, you weaken its hold on you. Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. Ralph Waldo Emerson. This quote reminds us that action is the antidote to fear. It's not enough to think about your fears or analyze them. You have to act. Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." This statement isn't just about courage in the face of adversity. It's a call to recognize that fear is often an illusion. When you confront your fears, you strip away their power and open yourself up to new possibilities. Here's an additional action step. Write down 3 things you've been avoiding out of fear. Choose one to tackle this week. Break it into small, manageable steps and celebrate each step you take. Building emotional mastery. Understanding your emotions is a huge part of self-knowledge. Most people let their emotions control them, but emotions are just signals. They're trying to tell you something. When you learn to interpret those signals, you gain control over your life. Here's another action step. The next time you feel a strong emotion, pause and ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? What need or value is behind this feeling? For example, anger might be telling you that a boundary has been crossed. Sadness might be telling you that you need connection. When you understand the message behind the emotion, you can respond in a way that's empowering rather than reactive. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. Viktor Frankl. This quote highlights the power of choice. No matter what happens to you, you have the power to choose your response. That's emotional mastery. Here's a bonus action step. Create a daily emotional check-in routine. Set aside 5 minutes every morning or evening to reflect on how you're feeling, what triggered those feelings, and what you can learn from them. The role of beliefs. Let's talk about beliefs for a moment. Your beliefs shape your reality. If you believe you're not good enough, you're going to act in ways that reinforce that belief. But here's the good news. Beliefs can be changed. Henry Ford said, "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." So what do you believe about yourself? And more importantly, are those beliefs serving you? If not, it's time to replace them. Here's an action step. Write down one limiting belief you have about yourself. Then write down 3 reasons why that belief is not true. For example, if you believe I'm not smart enough, write down 3 instances where you've demonstrated intelligence. The goal is to create evidence for a new empowering belief. Here's another action step. Start a belief journal. Each week, pick one belief you want to change. Write about where it came from, how it's impacted your life, and how you can replace it with a more empowering belief. Living with intention. Finally, self-knowledge is about living with intention. It's about knowing what you want and why you want it. Most people drift through life, letting circumstances dictate their path, but you have the power to choose your direction. So let me ask you, what do you want? What kind of life do you want to create? And what steps can you take today to move in that direction? Remember, clarity is power. The clearer you are about what you want, the more likely you are to achieve it. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. Carl Jung. This quote encapsulates the essence of self-knowledge. Awakening comes from within, not from external achievements or validation. Oprah Winfrey once said, "You become what you believe." This speaks to the power of aligning your actions with your inner beliefs. When your beliefs are grounded in self-knowledge, your external reality will transform to reflect that. Here's an action step. Create a vision board or a written vision statement for your life. Include your values, your goals, and the emotions you want to experience daily. Review it every morning to align your actions with your intentions. Call to action now. As we wrap up, I want you to do one thing today. Just one thing. Choose one action item from this talk. Whether it's observing your emotions, facing a fear, or challenging a limiting belief, and commit to doing it today. Because knowledge without action is useless. It's action that creates transformation. And before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the notification icon, and like this video. Why? Because this channel is here to empower you, to inspire you, and to help you unlock your full potential. By subscribing, you'll never miss a video that could change your life. And by liking this video, you're helping us reach more people who need this message. Remember, the journey to self-knowledge is not a destination. It's a lifelong process. But every step you take brings you closer to the life you were meant to live. So take that step today.